I recognize like those things are to show me and for me to grow and learn and not be frustrated by it, you know? It is something that I'm very passionate about, you know. I take the lessons that I'm supposed to get, putting myself out there in a different capacity, if you will. I'm representing myself to the birth world
Mhm.
as Agape Code ambassador. I had to go deep down and tap into what my values are, what who I am, and how I want people to see me. And I had to tap back into some of the testimonies, and really tap in and say like, what is it that I'm really doing, and have a lot of conversations with others to help me kind of define what and who I am and what I do, because it's such a natural thing. Like when I'm at a birth, it really is a spiritual thing. I view it as a spiritual, sacred thing. And
Mhm.
so some of the times I'm getting downloads. Like, yes, I have this knowledge, but then also I have my intuition that'll tell me to do this or ask about this, or you know what I mean? So it's not so rigid. Sometimes I get downloads to be able to say like, hey, is this an issue? Is that an issue? To where things can progress too. So
How do you describe yourself with that truth about yourself?
I'm trying to incorporate that now. Like this is my process of really trying to get it narrowed down. At first I was like, oh, I need a mission statement, I need values and all of that. And a dear friend, well now he's a friend, but a friend of a friend. But anyway, he encouraged me to have an ethos. And I was like, I like that because it's the spirit behind who I am and what I do. It's not necessarily a mission, if you will. And so what I was thinking of is really infusing your life with love one birth at a time. And then that was too long.
Mm.
So then like, infusing your birth, because initially it was circling your birth with love, because I also know that that's a huge component of why I do what I do. It's love, right? For me, it's receiving God's love, loving myself, and then loving others. But I want to incorporate that. So I love you by accepting whatever your birth plan is, right? I'm being loving by honoring whatever you tell me because this is your birth. And so for me, that's how I want people to see me, that they experience that expression of love during that time of
Mm.
birth. And
That's
in that,
beautiful.
and also in that I'm bringing families together, like I feel like ultimately my heart desires that as I'm attending these births, I'm connecting families, right? And it's building that family structure, right? So I tell the husband often or the father often, like, hey, you're a part of this too. I'm not here to do your job. Like the way her oxytocin's gonna heighten up is definitely different with your touch and my touch. Those are two different levels of oxytocin. So I need your hands to go here. I need you to do this. And also, you probably not gonna be so intimate for 6 weeks. So this is a time where you really want to get involved and love on each other and appreciate each other. And I love it when I see the partner is so like amazed by the woman and how she, like, you could tell there's a whole level of respect that comes after being there in the
Yeah.
room. And this is truly a bonding moment for you all. Being a birth worker, like, yes, I'm there for the mom, but I'm also there for the support person too. Because if that support person is off, then that mom's gonna be off. So I really need
Yeah.
us all to come in and be on one accord. And then of course we need baby to be aligned, right? So it's just all these different dynamics. And there's times where sometimes mother-in-law comes or uncle comes or whoever comes and I'm like, actually this isn't the time. We're gonna ask you to leave. So it's so many helps. And sometimes it's counselor, me helping them to translate to the partner what the mom is feeling, and him understanding like, hey, there's hormones, there's massive hormones right now to help support this baby, right, to help support this pregnancy and this baby coming. She may say a couple of things she may not really mean later on and may apologize for it. This is a part of all the process. So it's like I played so many different roles that it really was hard to kind of put it in such a small thing. So, or even in words, I like more the spirit behind it, which I'm still narrowing that down. But at least I have the name.
And tell me about how you're going to be presenting and what's coming up for you in your birth work.
I'm gonna be doing business as Agape Code Birth Ambassador, Agape Code Birth Ambassador. So I'm going
Wow.
to update my logo and things. So I'm no longer a doula because I am a midwife assistant. I'm a trainer. I'm a mentor, and I will be overseas. I'm actually headed to Ethiopia on the 20th, the 21st, Tuesday, Wednesday. Sometimes I'll be
Ooh.
there. I'm going there for a birth. I actually trained the woman who I'm going to be her doula for. I trained her to be a doula last or 2 years ago. And so she's had 3 births and she's asked me to come to attend her birth. So I'll be there for that as well as to help the OB and midwife that I work with to start their clinic. I basically did the training for some of their staff and like 3 doulas. So yeah, I get to go and assist her and them in that work. And then Kenya, I've been also asked to come there for a birth. And so I have 2 midwife friends that I will be assisting there. And so I'm trying to figure out where I'm sowing my oats. I'm very sold on spending babies. Like this, it truly has impacted my practice as a birth worker.
That's so dynamic.
So I'm
Marlene,
going
that's so
global.
beautiful.
I'm going global, and I want spending babies to come global with me. I'm going global.
You're a woman of vision.
This is true.
You are a woman of vision. You have this can-do spirit, but you have the can-do carry through.
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes. My organization that I co-founded, the Black Birth Collective, they probably wouldn't say that all the time. Like I have the vision sometimes, but then it's hard for me to, carry it through because I have so much, going on and I'm doing a lot. But it was initially
Yeah.
started to have that collective so that we can support each other.
Well,
I,
that's the thing that we have to understand about visionaries and
mm,
and people who have follow through. It's very rarely the same person. I'm a
mm,
visionary, but I need other people to do the executive functions
this is true.
because it's a whole different part of the brain.
Yes.
And you and I are both very intuitive. We
Hmm.
feel our way through things.
This is true.
Yeah.
I tell people often, like, if my heart doesn't bear witness with it, it's hard for me to do it. So any work that I'm a part of is very hard to do it if I don't feel it, right? And so the two other things I'm doing, it's around birth work. I have to feel it. If I don't feel it, even when I go in to do trainings, I've been asked to be the maternal ambassador for a city in Senegal, in Gajaway. And I initially was like, no. And then my friend was like, don't stop saying no, just wait for the opportunity to present itself and kind of fill it out first. And I said, well, I don't want to be an ambassador of maternity care and I have not built relationships first with the midwives. Anytime I come
That's
into
right.
play, I have to understand the culture because I will not be the American that is bringing my ideologies, my Western views. Anytime I come alongside, like even with the doula training, it took me like a month and a half before I trained because I wanted to understand what their culture was and how they did things and what birth looked like there before I'm just like, this is the way we do it. And so I don't mind being the ambassador of maternity care, but I want to come alongside. Like, I gave supplies. Um, we did supplies to Senegal in December, and in one of the village, I was a little annoyed because I didn't meet the midwife. Like I didn't meet the person who would then give these things out or whatever. And so I'm very relational in that sense too. And even with my clients, like if we don't vibe, we don't vibe. And it's okay. There's a doula for you,
Hmm.
there's a trainer for you, there's a mentor for you, but if I don't feel that connection,
Yeah.
yeah, I can't do the work. because
Yeah.
that's what drives me. My heart, my passion, my love is what is gonna drive it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I have a lot of thoughts, a lot of visions. I help a lot of people, and my dear friend, Kristen Farmers, the founder of Birth and Beautiful Communities, she told me last week. She said, "Look, stop. Put your phone down," because I'm also helping her to do a training. She said, "Put your phone down. You've done so much for other people. This is now your time to
Mm.
focus on yourself and represent yourself well. So put your phone down." She was like, "Just like you checked me last week, I'm checking you. Put your phone down and please represent yourself well because you deserve it. You have poured in so many other people. You helped so many other people build their organizations and do their vision and their works. But it's time
Mhm.
for you to, focus on yourself and really cultivate your vision."
Mm, that's a beautiful friend.
Yes. That's another thing. I have to have friends that'll check me. So as you did earlier, like, no, Marlene, 85%, I wouldn't say that. So,
If I feel like that can't be true, I like to say, what about that is true? And
mm,
then I could see, I bet what she's talking about is when she's introducing something new to somebody who's in a fear state. And then it
Just,
probably is 85%. Like my mind is stopping me from the next step towards my goal. Like we don't always know what our intent is. Our intent is survive, but there's a
mhm,
lot of steps in between that many people don't always consider because the fear of the pain is great. Whatever the situation is, there's a lot of things people are facing.
mhm,
And then there's a
mhm,
lot to navigate during the birth process, not just about the birth process, but about the whole experience in the hospital and with your
mhm.
family and your relationships and parenting and everything.
Attended Oral Roberts University and I did missions. And one of the things that we were taught in missions is that, like, the gospel is the truth. So you give the truth and then you allow the people to contextualize it to their culture, right? You allow the Holy Spirit to contextualize the truth, whatever their truth is, to their culture. So I've kind of taken that approach too with birth work. Like, I can only share the truth. How it resonates with the people is essentially up to them, right? The information that I give to them is up to them how they can formulate it to match wherever they are, depending where they are, you know?
Mm, I can imagine that's like saying, here's my message. I'm going to be true with my message. I'm going to be true with myself, radiating here in this relationship with you. And if that resonates with you, you can do with my message what you want. But if we resonate, then we can start working. We can start like a dynamic relationship.
Yeah, the training too. Like, if I'm coming alongside you, these are truths, but I need your culture to contextualize it, you know?
Yeah.
So it's in
Yeah.
every aspect. I feel like with relational, even with friends, with, whomever. Like you said, it's your truth that you're bringing forth. Does it resonate or not? It's only
Yeah.
when it does that I think it could be like a fruitful thing. We're not meant to be alone, right? When any person that comes into my path, they can add to or take away, right? Depending on whatever. But if the close people around me, they're supposed to sharpen me, right? You can't do that if you're going to be a chameleon, if you're not going to speak truth, because I believe truth and real love, like, I love you enough to say, hey, what you're doing is not kind. But where I can only see myself, right? And I can hear what other people say about me, but you know what I mean? Like, I can't do better. I can't really grow and evolve if I don't have people around me showing me myself. Like, there's shadow work that you can do, right? But then you
Yeah.
also need people around you that can show you things
Yeah.
about you that you can't see that may be harmful. And that's how we grow. I think we need each other in order to grow and learn things. But I'm learning to release control, and everyone does not think like me, and it's okay. It's so okay.
It's
Okay.
shocking, isn't it? It's just shocking. I mean, it took me 60 years to figure that one out.
Well, thank you. I'm 42, and I'm like, oh, wow, you're having issues because people don't think like you. Okay, release that. Release it. Release that expectation that when you say something, people are gonna say, "Whoa, whoa, that's great. I think the same way." It rarely happens. Rarely happens.
Oh.
I've accepted it. I've accepted that. Yeah, people don't think like me, and it's okay.
Let's
Mhm.
imagine a situation where you get to stand before your maker in all your beauty and glory, and you're just having a little review of how things went on earth. What is going to be the thing that is satisfying in the heart for you to hold up and say, this is something I can show?
I pray this, right? It is I feel like my purpose and call is to be an expression of agape. Hence my name, right? Agape, which is the God kind of love. It's the unconditional love. Because I feel like when you love someone unconditionally and you accept them for who they are, that's when true transformation can come. And so hopefully on the day I meet my maker, he can say that I love well. I
Mm.
want to know. Like at my funeral, if people say that Marlene loved me well, I know love because of Marlene, then I would
Oh,
feel like I came here, I accomplished what I was supposed to do. More
mm,
recently, one of my dear friends, Miranda, she said that to me. She said, I want to give you your flowers while you're here. And I don't know if she knew this about me, but she said, you taught me to love. She was like, you taught me to love. Like when I think of love, sometimes I say, would Marlene love like that? Is this the way Marlene would do it? I was like, okay. Like, gratefully, I'm not close to me, my maker, but it felt good to hear, like, okay, I guess I am doing some things right, right? Because a lot of my relationships haven't been, my interpersonal relationships haven't been so successful, or the love that I have intended to give. My intention is to give love, but sometimes it hasn't come across as that. And so for me to hear that well done, you loved well, that's, I would be like, okay, thank you.
yeah,
Ooh, it was all worth it, right? Because I think that love is a ripple effect. Because when someone truly
absolutely.
feels love and they love themselves, they have no choice but to give it out. Because God is love.
Yeah,
God is love. We are made in God's image and we are love.
yeah.
We have the capacity to be love to one another, to ourselves and to one another. But some of us, it takes us a while to get our true identity.
Oh, yes, exactly. And that's what we're doing here, doing that with one another,
Yes.
right? And that's the ideal of easier birth is we have less obstacles to who we truly are and what we're truly here to do.
Go back to the original intent. The original intent was for us to deliver vaginally. That was the original intent. Like there was no cesareans, there was no this, there was no that, right? That was the original intent that God had for woman, was to
And
deliver
what is
that.
the benefit of that is that all the physiology is not just the physiology of getting a baby out of a body, but all the connections to the heart and the brain and how we parent and how
All
we have intuition, how we have a relationship with that person. Not that we can't love without a vaginal birth, for sure. Some
yes.
vaginal births are traumatic and they should have been done by cesarean. Some cesareans are traumatic and could have been done as vaginal births.
Mhm.
But, I always say the cesarean is a lifesaver and it's a
Mhm.
wonderful lifesaver, but it's a crappy lifestyle.
Fine.
Individual, it's a lifesaver, and
Mhm.
that's how it should be.
Yeah, that is so true, Gail. Like birth, the way it was originally intended, really propels a mother, a family into parenthood, right? If it's done properly without the traumas, without the this, then you want to do skin to skin. You want to breastfeed. Like the natural way how it was originally intended, when all those things are done, that baby is bonding, that baby is connecting, that baby's feel love. So there's no avoidant, fearful attachment, right? You don't have all the later things in life because things weren't provided for you because your mother, for whatever reason, had trauma, or you know what I mean. Like when things are done originally, then
And if we think about the original intent being
mhm,
love, then love is
yes,
the first thing, love is the
that-
last thing. And how we get here is much less important than how those around us can support that loving relationship. For many people, it's very confronting to hear what we're saying.
yes,
Uh, it's a journey for us to get here to what we're saying. It's a journey and also in science,
yes,
because the science shows the stress hormones and the
yes,
gut bacteria and all the things connected with how we give birth. However, when we talk to millions of people who are giving birth this year, if we meet them where they're at and offer them a sense of their sense of what love is,
mhm,
what's their sense of feeling support, so that their reassurance rises, their fear goes down, their sense of safety to be who they are in the situation they're in.
mhm,
That's all very important first.
yes,
And you were talking about that in how you do your doula work. You
mhm,
started with that.
mhm, mhm. It's love. It's agape.
Marlene, share with people how they can reach you.
My new representation is Agape Code Birth Ambassador. You can find me on IG as Agape Code Birth Ambassador. You can also find me on Facebook, Agape Code Birth Ambassador, and email address agape code birth ambassador at gmail.com.
Thank
Yeah,
you so much, Marlene, and keep us in touch with your world travels.
I definitely will. Definitely will. Thank you so much. It's an honor.